time to lawyer up. In case you missed anything, I'm gonna fill you in on this case. We tried to tear up the heat and boil ourselves a crab, but a well-timed torpedo completely shattered our argument.
It completely shatters the defense's argument.
Marlon took the stand once more, only to dump out another bucket full of lies. But he backed to play them up. Things still looked grim.
Sasha or the orc? You can only save one of them.
Can we turn our thinking around in time to save everyone? Find out today on Ace Attorney Dual Destinies. And somebody other than the defendant could have committed the crime.
Are you sure you know where you're going with this?
I might not be too sure, but I can't back down now.
Mr. Wright, I hope I'm wrong, but this isn't one of your bluffs by any chance.
Ha ha ha! Of course not! Judge knows me far too well.
And do you have a theory on where the actual scene of the crime was?
Yes, of course. Think, Phoenix. Think. Think of a place other than the Orca pool room where one could fall to one's death.
Then, by all means, please share your theory with the court. Where was the real scene of the murder?
Obviously, it's the only other pool that's there. Like that! The show stage pool might have been drained of water at some point as well. And if so, it would be just as possible to fall to one's death there as the Orca pool.
Right, to you. What you're doing is a disgrace to your profession. I sincerely hope you have some basis for what you're suggesting.
Of course I do. I will, as soon as I think of something.
The victim's body was found in the Orca pool. How do you explain that?
Objection! How about if after the victim was killed in the show stage pool, his body was moved to the Orca pool?
How about if? What kind of presentation of your argument is that? You had better have a reasonable explanation of how the body was moved.
There's no turning back now. I have to think of a way the body could have been moved. Was there something at the scene that could have been used to move the body? Come on, Phoenix, think. If we could move Orla with the stretcher, it would be activated by the switch, which would in turn move the hoist. Like that! This hoist shown on the map here runs between the Orca pool room and the show stage. A stretcher can be hung from the hoist to move things like Orla or the Skull Rock. The stretcher could also have been used to move a dead body!
Yes. If the stretcher can move the Orca or the Skull Rock, it seems likely it could also move a dead body as well.
Wow, somehow that worked. We just might be able to pull this off. If the show pool was the scene of the crime, somebody else could have done it. Objection.
You desperately spew conjecture, and now you even make up a crime scene?
Not again!
You don't have the soul of a warrior. You don't deserve to be on the battlefield. And even your fabrication is half-baked. It's a disgrace.
What do you mean, half-baked?
The hoist can be operated in the pool room only.
Yeah.
And the only person who entered the Orca pool room was the defendant. So even if the body was moved, the only one who could have moved it was the defendant herself.
Order! So it comes back to the defendant, no matter which pool it was.
Meaning, I can't clear Sasha either way. Sasha said she moved Orla and the Skull Rock, and I believe her. So could it be possible that she moved the body herself without being being aware of it?
Mr. Wright, you have an objection to Prosecutor Blackwell's claim?
Do I have an objection to the claim that the defendant moved the body? Oh, damn right I do. The defense has an objection.
All right, fine. Let's hear this objection then.
Well, my objection is... I can't admit I haven't thought of one.
Mr. Wright, you just felt like saying you had an objection, didn't you?
Yes, Your Honor.
Well, I just feel like giving you a penalty.
The hoist could only be operated from the Orca pool. Furthermore, the defendant is the only one who entered the Orca pool. Therefore, the defendant is the only one who could have moved the body.
There are no inconsistencies in Prosecutor Blackwell's claim itself. But the only thing Sasha moved are Orla and the Skull Rock. So with that in mind, that must mean Sasha moved the body without realizing it. I admit I don't see any problems with Prosecutor Blackwell's claims per se. There is no denying that Miss Buckler must have been the one who moved the body.
What?
Mr. Wright, are you admitting the defendant committed the murder?
No, I'm simply conceding that she was the only one who could have moved the body. However, I contend Miss Buckler was not aware that is what she was doing. Therefore, the only logical conclusion is that the culprit made her move it unbeknownst to her.
The defendant moved a dead body without recognizing that it was a dead body?
Precisely, Your Honor.
How could that be possible?
The body was found in the Orca pool. It must have been moved there somehow. I might find some kind of hint in the thing she moved with the stretcher. The culprit made Miss Buckler move the body along with this piece of evidence. Ladies and gentlemen of the court, don't take my lawyer logic for granted, because I've got rock-solid concrete proof that my argument's bolder than you think.
Take that! The Skull Rock!
Miss Buckler told me yesterday that she moved the Skull Rock when she was cleaning. The only two things Miss Buckler moved to the Orca pool are Orla and the Skull Rock. I would like to suggest that the victim's body may have been inside the Skull Rock.
What?
Hidden inside the rock, the body could have been moved to the Orca pool with a hoist. Allow me to demonstrate a mock-up of this situation with a map. Now consider, at the show stage, Marlon Rhymes loaded up the Skull Rock with the body inside. And then he used the walkie-talkie to let Miss Buckler know the rock was loaded. And so naturally, Miss Buckler responded accordingly. Once again, allow me to demonstrate. As you can see, Miss Buckler then operated the hoist from the Orca pool room and moved the stretcher. Therefore, we can safely conclude that Miss Buckler moved the rock without knowing the body was inside.
Do you really think there's enough space inside the Skull Rock to place a body?
The swashbuckler flyer indicates it could be possible. Consider the question on the bottom left of the flyer.
Oh, it says, who will obtain the gold coins hidden in the Skull Rock? In that case, I suppose the rock is most likely hollow.
Bingo, Your Honor. What's more, if the body was inside the Skull Rock, it explains the remaining unanswered questions.
Such as?
Please take a look at the security footage of the scene Mr. Plume witnessed. Where did the blood that Mr. Plume saw come from? Please recall, what was Orla doing to the Skull Rock at this time? She was headbutting it.
Oh!
That's right. Orla's ramming released the body from the Skull Rock. The body had been placed inside the Skull Rock and moved there from the show stage. I assert that the real murder scene was in fact the show stage pool.
Silence. What rubbish is this now? You haven't a single scrap of evidence.
Objection! It's easy enough to verify what I say. Take a look inside the Skull Rock for yourself. We should find some kind of proof that the body was there. You know, usual things. Blood, fibers, hair.
You are! Still no.
Never underestimate the blade of a phoenix who's right.
Mr. Wright, that was incredible. You turned things completely around. And to think, it all started with that half-baked bluff, too.
Whew, that was a close one. Did you really have to add that last part, though?
If the murder took place at the show stage, then who is the perpetrator?
It is, naturally, the person who was at the show stage. Mr. Rhymes, weren't you the one who loaded the skull rock onto the stretcher at the show stage?
Wow, Mr. Wright. That was some pretty smart brain work you did there. To be honest, I never thought you could figure it out. I tried to protect myself, but I guess it came back to bite me.
Are you confessing you gave false testimony before, Mr. Rhymes? That's perjury.
Yeah, what Mr. Wright says is true. The body was inside the skull rock. And it's true the captain was killed in the show pool, too.
What? He's admitting it that easily?
This time, I'm going to tell you the whole truth about what happened that day. In the show pool, the orca shot the captain up into the air. Then the captain came down and slammed into the water. I could still remember the spectators' screams clearly. All Sasha did was move the body. She was trying to protect the orca. When Mr. Blue witnessed the orca finding the body, I freaked.
So now we're back to the orca again, I see.
If you were going to give a testimony like that, why did I bother putting you on the stand? All I'm doing is telling the truth. That day, Sasha wanted to do the old version of the Swashbuckler Spectacular. So I suggested she hide the body in the skull rock and move it to the orca pool. I was going to figure out what to do with the body after the show was over. The orca is the one that killed the captain. It wasn't me, and it wasn't Sasha.
So it was Mr. Rhymes' idea to hide the body in the skull rock? If Mr. Rhymes is the culprit, why would he protect Sasha? False charges against Sasha would mean he himself would escape suspicion. So why?
Mr. Wright, how about if you leave this to me?
Athena, do you mean you heard something?
Yup, noise. Discord in Mr. Rhymes' heart.
So that means somewhere in his testimony there's an inconsistency in his emotions. All right, Athena, give him a good counseling session.
You got it, boss. Huh? What's this?
What are you getting, Athena?
This testimony is pretty complex. Feelings of deep sadness and intense anger are being called up. Those two emotions appear to be running out of control.
Out of control emotions? Is that going to be a problem?
We'll have to probe their cause if we want to get to his true emotions and testimony. There might even be odd or unnatural spots in his testimony he isn't even aware of.
All right, let's probe the cause of his out-of-control emotions then.
I'll explain how to probe. Let's find the root cause together. When you see something, feel free to skip the tutorial. Sure, just do it.
Fantastic, all right. I'll get started comparing the statements with the images. Load up the simulation.
Initiating audiovisual reconstruction. Warning, emotional overload detected.
In the show pool, the orca shot the captain up into the air. Then the captain came down and slammed into the water. I can still remember the spectator screams clearly. All Sasha did was move the body. She was trying to protect the orca. When Mr. Blue witnessed the orca finding the body, I freaked.
And that's the testimony. Alright, now it's up to me to use my non-existent therapy powers. Could he be mad because of Sasha? Could he be sad because of Jack Shipley? Or could it be the other way around of both of them, really? It's so hard to know. Guess I'll try doing what I do best. Pointing out the obvious and twisting it into my favor. And the most obvious answer here is our little rapping janitor has a grudge against the orca. Got it! Mr. Rhymes, you're angry with Orla, aren't you?
Angry? At an orca? Why would I be? If you think I have some reason to be mad, then show me some proof.
Do I have proof that Mr. Rhymes has a reason to be mad? Of course I do. I've got your proof right here. Somewhere. I'm just not sure where at the moment.
You're accusing me without any proof? That's low, man. If you want to win with just words, why not settle this with a rap battle?
No thanks. Maybe some other time. Oh, this isn't working. If I can't uncover the reason for his anger, I'd better think of a new approach, and fast. Damn it, I'm a lawyer, not a psychoanalyst. So how about I think like a lawyer? Come on, Phoenix, there's got to be a contradiction somewhere. Wait, there it is. If an audience were there at the scene of the crime, then this court case would be so much easier. Got it! I doubt there were any spectators there at the show stage when the owner died. If there had been, those witnesses would have told us the true crime scene right away.
What? Oh, right, of course. I just made a mistake.
Noise level reduced.
Okay, that made the sadness subside. So maybe the spectator's part was what was making him sad?
I wonder why he would make that mistake, saying spectators were there. How strange.
The only thing I can think of is that he was mixing up one memory with another. Like he was in a similar situation before, and it was deeply imprinted on his heart.
A situation where an orca killed somebody and there were spectators there. Hey! I think I know why he's mixing up his memories. The reason why Mr. Rhymes mixed up his memories is because he witnessed a similar event before. He's subconsciously confusing this event for that one. Almost like his brain is creating a remixed sample of the events in his memories. Take that! Mr. Rhymes, I think I know what happened. Could you have been mixing up what happened a year ago with this incident? Maybe that's why you slipped and said the owner was killed in front of spectators.
What? How did you... You're right. I did see the orca kill somebody a year ago. But what about it? I was just one of the spectators.
Really? Just another spectator? There must be a reason why you feel great sadness about that incident last year.
Silence. Stop this nonsensical scrutiny of feelings. Just present evidence to prove your point.
Boss, do we have any kind of evidence that would back us up here?
There is one piece that comes to mind that might explain his sadness.
Well, I'm waiting. Let's see this evidence that has to do with Marlon Wright's sadness.
My hunch is correct. It looks like this case just got a whole lot sadder.
Take that!
Azora Summers died an accidental death 1 year ago. This is her boyfriend's charm.
Hey! What are you doing with that charm?
Was found in Rifle's stomach yesterday. Judging by your reaction, I believe this charm belongs to you. I guess I need to push him just a little harder to make him admit it.
When Mr. Rhymes said the word charm, he was very rattled. we'd better examine this charm a little more.
Good idea. Let's look inside it. Huh? What's this? A photograph. Hey, this is Azura Summers and Marlon Rhymes.
Mr. Rhymes, you and Azura Summers were a couple, weren't you?
So what if we were a couple? It doesn't have anything to do with the captain's case.
You believe you saw the Orca kill your girlfriend. That's the cause of your sadness. Isn't that emotion of yours connected to the Kurd case?
The only thing you revealed was the witness's relationship with the victim a year ago. What does the witness's past have to do with the case at hand?
I don't know yet.
But we managed to pinpoint the source of his sadness. Now let's delve into who Mr. Rhymes is angry at.
Now that we know why Mr. Rhymes is so mad at Orla, we finally have the proof that he wants so badly. Got it! Mr. Rhymes, you're angry with Orla, aren't you?
Angry? At an orca? Why would I be? Man, why you keep asking the same questions over and over again? It's getting mad annoying.
We don't have to go through this same exchange again because I know why. I bet that evidence we just took a look at would come in handy here. As I'm sure you're aware, this charm indicates that you were Azura Summers' boyfriend. I'm sure you believe Orla killed your girlfriend a year ago. You lost your GF, and so you've been angry at Orla!
Alright, I'll admit it. I'll never forgive that orca. Azura is dead, and that orca is still swimming around happy as a clam. I became an animal keeper just so I could prove that orca is a killer. You're right. I want that orca to pay. There, do you feel good? Dragging up a person's past? But it still doesn't change anything.
Noise level reduced.
He's right.
I disagree. It does change things. His out-of-control emotions quieted down. Now we should be able to find out the truth behind that emotion.
I certainly hope so.
In the short pool, the orca shot the captain up into the air. Then the captain came down and slammed into the water. I can still remember it clearly. All Sasha did was move her body. She was trying to protect the orca. When Mr. Blue witnessed the orca finding the body, I freaked.
What do you know? If Mr. Rhymes was so angry at Orla, he certainly wouldn't have freaked. Got it! When Mr. Plume witnessed the orca finding the body, you freaked. Really?
What are you getting at?
With Mr. Plume as a witness, Orla was guaranteed to be accused of murder. Didn't it work out exactly as you hoped? In order to have Orla put down, you made sure Mr. Plume witnessed that scene!
Info update. Noise level reduced. Analysis complete. Bye-bye.
So you figured it all out, did you?
Mr. Rhymes, are you admitting it?
I didn't really want to have to fight anybody but the orca. But you leave me no choice. Now it's time to get serious. Ahoy! What? Yo! Ho! Ahoy me, meat brothers, red reset. A varsity grass eater, stay free. Take me words and pop them in your mouth. Scrubbing grass eaters kneel to my feet. Yo! Ho! Bro! ready for the showdown.
What's going on? Where did that pirate fellow come from?
He looks like a completely different person.
Order! If we don't have order, Prosecutor Blackwell will yell at us.
Even Prosecutor Blackwell is at a loss for words.
So I plan to have that wench be a witness. You caught me out. If it be true, I thought that Orca's murderous way should be found out. That be why I schemed to have the Bloom see the body.
So you admit you deliberately framed Orla?
Nah, it be true. But what skin be that of anybody's nose? That Orca be a murdering, scurvy dog. I may have a grudge against that Orca, but I always felt grateful towards the captain. The Orca murdered Azra and the captain, so of course he should walk the plank.
God, I don't have a response to that.
I agree it wouldn't make any sense for him to kill the owner. Why would he? But his hatred for Orla, on the other hand, comes through loud and clear.
Wait a minute. If killing Mr. Shipley doesn't make sense, who would it make sense for Rhymes to kill? Maybe my theory has been all wrong. Your Honor, I think I just became aware of a new fact.
Oh? And what is that?
Now that we know about Mr. Rhymes' intense hatred for Orla, it turns the premise we've been arguing under on its ear. I will now reveal the identity of the individual Mr. Rhymes meant to kill from the start. And that individual is the one that Mr. Rhymes has been angry at this whole time.
Take that! What? So the witness's intent was to kill the Orca?
Exactly. The witness's intended victim was not Jack Shipley. From the start, it was all a scheme to kill Orla! Let's go project!